Yemen is just one country where the United States is pursuing al-Qaeda. To get a fuller sense of America's global war on terror, we're joined once again tonight by Juan Carlos Zarate. During the Bush administration, he served as Deputy Assistant to the President and Deputy National Security Advisor for combating terrorism. He's now with the Center for Strategic and International Studies in Washington. And Mr. Zarate, thank you so much for being with us. Why is Yemen so important to the United States in the war on terror?
Edie, Yemen sits at the base of the southern tip of the Arabian Peninsula, bordering Saudi Arabia and other important Arabian countries, across the water from the Horn of Africa and Somalia, an important sea route. But importantly, it's an area that has increasingly worried U.S. officials as a potential safe haven for al-Qaeda. We've heard reports over the last year and a half, 2 years, of al-Qaeda fighters streaming toward Yemen and have seen the effects of their attacks. We've seen an attack on the U.S. Embassy last September, tourist sites, taking of hostages, and we've now seen some strikes, obviously, where the Yemeni government, perhaps with the assistance of the U.S. government, have taken the offensive against the al-Qaeda members there in Yemen.
Does Admiral Mike Mullen have reason to be concerned that it's reaching a tipping point there?
Well, I'm not sure if we're yet at a tipping point, but certainly Chairman Mullen has much to be concerned about. Yemen is a fairly unstable country with pockets of al-Qaeda fighters, with training camps that have really attracted a number of individuals who are dangerous to Yemeni society. And so, yes, there's the real danger there. And to the extent that we are displacing safe haven in other parts of the world, the United States is looking to other places where it tries to head off al-Qaeda bases in places like Yemen, where they can not only launch attacks internally, but then launch attacks in the region or toward the United States.
In what other countries beside Yemen and Afghanistan and Pakistan is this war being fought?
Well, certainly we've seen problems in East Africa, in particular in Somalia, with the al-Shabaab movement, which has direct ties to al-Qaeda. We saw in September of this year an attack against Salih Nabhan, a longtime al-Qaeda member in East Africa, who was killed apparently by U.S. forces. We've also seen al-Qaeda remnants and relationships in the Maghreb, as it's called, in North Africa, with a number of attacks and hostage takings happening there. And then there are pockets of cells of al-Qaeda membership in Europe, and we've certainly seen some arise in the United States. And so this truly is a global war, and this is why I think you've seen the Obama administration talk about the war on al-Qaeda and still make the claim that there is a global war underway.
The last time you were with us, you said that President Obama is in some ways pursuing the war on terror even more aggressively than President Bush did. Is that still the case?
Well, I think you've seen a fundamental continuity of counterterrorism policies from the prior administration to the current administration, and I think you're seeing some very aggressive actions. I mentioned the attack in September in Somalia, which involved U.S. military forces on the ground in Somalia. You hadn't seen that in the Bush administration. Now you're seeing more aggressive activities in Yemen. You've seen reports of more aggressive lethal activities in Pakistan on the other side of the border. Obviously, with the influx of troops in Afghanistan, you're going to see more activities in the south and the east of Afghanistan. And so anyone who thought that the Obama administration was going to be Pollyannish about the problems it's facing around the world, I think has been rudely awakened by the realities of what's actually happened.
All right, Juan Carlos Zarate, thank you very much for being with us this evening.
My pleasure. Thank you.